I write your name the way wounds remember the blade. Softly, trembling, still warm with ache. Every syllable opens again. Every echo bruises the air. And I could even die from your pain. That is how deep you live in me. Your shadow crosses my heartbeat. My ribs open like weary gates for you. I breathe you even when it burns. I hold you even when it hurts. I choose you even when choosing means breaking myself in half. Love is a fragile country of breaking, where every sunrise is a question, and every night is a confession. I walk through its fields barefoot. The grass made of memories. The wind made of your voice. Nights grow taller around me. And the dark becomes a patient listener. It waits for me to whisper your absence. To fold myself into longing. To shiver beneath the cold of maybe. To drown beneath the weight of almost. Your silence pours into me like winter rain. Steady, relentless, honest. I carry it like a second skin. Thin enough to tear. Strong enough to haunt. Sometimes I call your name. Just to hear what trembling sounds like. Sometimes I close my eyes. And your face blooms against the dark. A slow burning star. A memory dressed in light. I learned your pain the way oceans learn storms. Not by choice. But by necessity. Your sorrow spills into me. And I drink it without hesitation. As if it were the only water left. If loving you is a kind of dying, then let me die gently. In the soft curve of your grief. In the breath between your tears. In the place where your loneliness rests. Because even in the ruin, even in the trembling, even in the quiet that follows heartbreak, you remain the heartbeat. I cannot unlearn. Your sadness moves through me. Like an old violin song. Slow, fragile, aching for release. I feel it in my palms. In the silent corners of my breath. In the quiet spaces where hope used to sleep. There are nights I swear. Your heartbeats echo inside my chest. As if our sorrows found a way to braid themselves together. I carry what you cannot say. The way a lantern carries fire. Gently, fearfully, faithfully. Your pain has a gravity. And I am always falling toward it. Helpless to resist. Helpless to look away. Even the sky seems to dim. When you suffer. I taste your sorrow like winter wind. Sharp at the edges. Soft in the afterbreath. It clings to me. The way frost clings to tired windows. Fragile, shivering. Beautiful in a way it shouldn't be. Sometimes I think, if I could step into your wounded moments and take your place, I would do it without hesitation. I would bleed in your stead. I would shatter in your stead. I would carry the storm before it ever touched your skin. But I can only love you. And sometimes love is not the shield we want it to be. Sometimes it is just a trembling hand reaching into darkness, trying to find another trembling hand. Your quiet tears carve rivers in me. Each one widens a valley, a hollow where your grief can rest. I let it rest there, unjudged, unquestioned, unrushed. The world sees only your smile, bright as morning, calm as a gentle tide. But I see the shadow behind it, the thin crack in the porcelain, the storm held behind your ribs, like an unspoken confession. You don't need to say a word. Your silence trembles loud enough. It tells me everything. And I listen with the devotion of someone staring at the last light before the night takes it away. There are moments when you look away, and it feels like the sun has set in the middle of the day. Moments when you laugh, but your eyes remain still. And I know that somewhere inside, a sadness is calling your name. And I want to answer it for you. I want to tell it to leave. I want. There are mornings when I wake with your sorrow resting quietly on my chest, as if it traveled through the night to find a warmer place to breathe. I do not push it away. I let it settle. Let it feel at home. Because anything of yours deserves gentleness from me. Your struggles arrive like soft footsteps, afraid to disturb the floor between us. But I hear them. Even the silent ones. Especially the silent ones. They hum in the air. The way grief does when it is trying not to cry. Some days your voice trembles on the edge of a sentence, as if one wrong word might unravel everything you've tried to hold together. I want to cup your voice in my hands, steady it, warm it, whisper into it that you don't have to be strong for me. You don't have to hide the storms that shiver behind your ribs. I have known storms. They do not frighten me. It is your loneliness that wounds me most. The thought of you suffering quietly, pretending you're unbreakable, so no one sees the cracks. But I see them. I see all of them. And they only make you more human to me. More beautiful in the way truth is beautiful. Raw, unpolished, real. There is a softness in the way you hurt. A kind of aching grace. Even in sorrow, you carry yourself like someone who doesn't want to burden the world. As if your pain is something you must apologize for? But you never need to apologize to me. If your heart becomes too heavy, hand it to me for a while. I am strong enough to hold it. I am gentle enough to mend it. I am foolish enough to love it, even when it bleeds. Sometimes I imagine your hurt as a small, frightened animal, curled beneath your skin. I want to coax it out with warmth, stroke its trembling fur, and teach it that not every hand comes to cause harm. And if the world has taught you to expect pain before kindness, I will spend the rest of my life untangling that lesson. Because you deserve tenderness. The kind that doesn't expire. The kind that doesn't demand repayment. The kind that sits with you in the ruins of all you've lost. You deserve love that doesn't flinch at your scars. Love that doesn't turn away when the sky inside you turns dark. Love that stays, even when staying means enduring the chill of your deepest winters. I would walk through those winters without a coat if it meant finding you on the other side. Your hurt calls to me the way a distant bell calls to wanderers. Steady, haunting, familiar. I follow its echo to understand you better, to love you fuller, to stand closer to the truth of who you are. And if the world insists on carving sorrow into your skin, then let it carve mine too. Let us share the ache, so it becomes lighter for you. Let us break together. If breaking means neither of us has to shatter alone. Your pain lives inside me, like an adopted heartbeat, beating not in place of my own, but beside it. A second rhythm. A second truth. A second pulse of devotion. I never asked for, yet willingly embrace. I could even die from your pain. Not because I am weak, but because I feel you, with a depth that borders on surrender. And loving you means letting your sorrow write its name across the quietest parts of me. Your suffering arrives sometimes, like a soft hush in the room, a ripple in the air, a quiet dimming of all the lights inside you. I can feel it long before you speak, as if your soul leans toward me, seeking something it cannot name. There is a language in the way you breathe, When you're hurting, a faltering rhythm, a hesitant rise and fall. And I understand it. Not because I am wise, but because my heart has learned to listen for you. You don't have to explain the heaviness inside your chest. I've carried weights like that too. I know how they press inward, how they curl around the ribs like stubborn vines, how they steal the color from the world. But when it is your heaviness, I feel it differently. Sharper, deeper, as though the ache chooses my body as its second home. I would hold it for you if I knew how to remove it without hurting you further. I would lift it from your bones with both hands, carefully, delicately, like lifting a wounded bird from the cold. Your sadness does not frighten me. It does not inconvenience me. It does not drain me. It simply reminds me of how human you are, how tender your spirit must be to feel the world so deeply. If the world has sharpened itself against your softness, then let me be the place where you can fall apart without consequence. You can break here. You can cry here. You can be afraid here. You can be quiet here. Nothing inside you is too heavy for me. There are nights when you hide your sorrow behind a smile, and I see the tremble beneath it. A flicker, a fracture, a barely there plea for someone to notice you're not okay. I notice. I always notice. And even when you think you're holding yourself together well, your silence unravels like thread, pulling at the edges of my attention, drawing me closer, asking me without words to sit beside you. So I sit. Sometimes in conversation, sometimes in silence, sometimes in the quiet companionship of two hearts trying to beat steadily. In an unsteady world, I don't always know what to say, but I know how to stay. And sometimes, staying is the greatest language of love. Your tears. I have never seen them fall, but I have felt them, as if they leave a mark on the air between us. You cry quietly, the way gentle souls do, as if even your pain apologizes for existing. It breaks me in ways I can't fully describe. It teaches me tenderness in ways I never expected. It makes me want to be a safer place, a softer place, a place where your sorrow can finally rest. And if loving you means absorbing the ache you refuse to show the world, then I will take it. Without hesitation. I will make room for every shadow that clings to your spirit, and every fear that steals sleep from your nights. I will not ask you to be strong. I will not ask you to pretend. I will not ask you to heal faster than your heart allows. I will simply love you. Through the ache, through the silence, through the storms, you carry so quietly. And yes, I could even die from your pain. Not from the weight of it, but from the depth of how fiercely I feel it with you. How deeply I wish I could take it away. There are moments when your sadness arrives suddenly, like a gust of wind that blows through an open door. You try to hide it, tucking it beneath your voice, locking it behind your steady posture. But sorrow has a way of glowing through the smallest cracks. And I see it. The flicker in your eyes, the tightening of your breath, the slight tremble in your hands. When you think no one is looking, your pain speaks in movements so delicate they almost vanish. But never to me. I have memorized the shape of your silence. I know when it is peaceful, and when it is heavy. I know when it is resting, and when it is hiding something. You cannot bring yourself to say aloud. Sometimes you go quiet. Not because you have nothing to say, but because everything inside you hurts too loudly. And instead of words, you offer stillness. A stillness that breaks me open with its soft desperation. If I could take your quiet hurt and lay it gently in my own chest, I would. Without waiting for your permission, I would become the place where your grief can collapse without fear of being misunderstood. You have carried too much for too long, and you carry it as though the world depends on your strength. But you don't have to be unbroken for me. You don't have to hold the sky up alone. Let it fall. Let it fall into my hands, into my arms, into the space between us that was built for truth, not perfection. Sometimes I imagine the pieces of your hurt, the ones you don't speak of, the ones you bury deep, scattered like shards of glass across the floor of your heart. And I wish I could pick them up for you, one by one, even if they cut me, even if they draw blood, even if the price is my own quiet suffering. Your pain is not a burden. It is a language I have learned without being taught, because loving you means listening with more than my ears. It means feeling the tremor beneath your laughter. It means noticing the dimming behind your smile. It means reaching for your hand in the dark, even when you insist you're fine. I wish you knew how much your presence alone means to me, how deeply your existence intertwines with the rhythm of my days. When you hurt, the air thickens around me, as if the world itself is asking me to pay attention. And I do. I always do. Your wounds may not be mine, but the ache they leave moves through me, as though carved into my own bones. It is not pity, not sympathy. It is devotion. A kind of devotion that makes me want to stand between you and every sorrow that dares approach. If grief comes for you, let it face me first. If loneliness knocks at your door, I will answer it. If sadness drapes itself around your shoulders, I will pull it off. Even if it wraps around me instead. I am not afraid of the darkness inside you. I have walked darker roads than this, but never with someone I wanted so desperately to protect. Your pain lives in me, not as a wound, but as a vow. A promise that I will not leave, not stray, not turn away, even when the weight becomes immense. And yes, I could even die from your pain. Not because it destroys me, but because I feel it so fiercely that my heart forgets where my suffering ends and yours begins. There are days when you look like you're made of calm, but I know beneath the surface a storm is quietly gathering. You carry yourself with such quiet strength that even your trembling pretends to be steady. But I've learned to see the truth hidden beneath your breaths. The fragile rise, the slower fall, the subtle strain, held in the space between each heartbeat. You've become so used to hurting that you think silence is the safest place to hide your wounds? But silence is not your shield. Not with me. I hear you there. I hear the ache, trying to swallow its own voice. You don't need to hold it in. You don't need to be the one who survives everything alone. Let me be the one who survives it with you. Your pain, when it comes without warning, hits me like a shadow crossing the sun. One moment the world feels warm, the next it dims, as though your sorrow has stretched itself across the sky, and I cannot escape its gravity. I don't want to escape it. I only want to understand it, to sit with it, to breathe with it, until it softens enough for you to carry again. Some hurts don't want to be explained. They only want to be witnessed. And I will witness yours. For as long as you let me. For as long as you breathe. Sometimes I wish I could reach inside your chest and pull out the hurt that has nested there for far too long. But healing is never something taken. It is something shared, something offered, something held gently between two hearts that refuse to let go. I hope you know. You never have to pretend with me. Not strength. Not calm. Not confidence. Not certainty. You can show me the trembling. I will meet it with steady hands. There are moments when I imagine your pain as a soft, flickering light, trapped beneath glass, trying to dim itself so no one will see it. But I see it. And I'm not here to put it out. I'm here to shelter it, to give it space to breathe without burning you. If love is meant to be a shared flame, then let your sorrow burn alongside mine. Let us carry its weight together until neither of us has to bear it alone. You don't have to fight the world on your own terms. Let me stand beside you in the unlit hours. Let me be the voice that steadies your shaking, the warmth that softens your cold, the presence that reminds you you are not walking through the dark unaccompanied. Your heart has been brave for far too long. Let it rest. Let it break. Let it be small in the safety of my arms. And if the only way for me to understand your suffering is to feel it as though it were my own, then let it be so. Let it carve its way through me until I know exactly how deep it runs in you. Because loving you has taught me this truth. Your pain is not an interruption. It is a doorway into the most honest part of your soul. And I would walk through it again and again just to reach you on the other side. If someday your sorrow becomes a wave that pulls me under, I will not fight it. I will sink with you, swim with you, rise with you. Because yes, I could even die from your pain. But I would rather die in it with you than live in a world where your suffering goes unseen, unshared, unheld.